Thank you for watching Valor Studios on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Where last we left off, Bronwyn had been shuffled off the bridge in a huff with the rest of the bridge crew and watched the disastrous end of Captain Click. Pressed up against the bulkhead door, she stares through the small bubble window into what was the wheelhouse and sees the front windshield and roof completely gone and no sign of the good captain. She turns to the remaining crew, who appear desperate to move away from the suddenly still creaking and splitting hull, and says,
I don't know how that happened. He just went. Y'all saw him. You saw him. He just went, right?
The crew panicked and says, yeah, we gotta go a deck down at least and seal the hatch. Come on.
All right, you fellas lead the way. I'll bring up the rear or whatever.
They hustle you down to a stairwell, and once you are in that section, they seal off the airlock, into the bulkhead doors that cut off this deck from the ones above and below. And as they look around and go, we need to find if we lost anybody else. Start searching the decks, form search parties, and the person who's the highest ranking member of the crew there breaks everybody up into pairs and sends you off with someone else down to check the cargo hold for any other crew.
All right. You just I'll just keep following you. I think my compatriots are down there, so I should probably join them. And as I kind of start kind of hustling and following this guy, my brain is on fire. It's running a mile a minute. I'm wondering what's going on with everybody else, but also wondering what are the chances that this would have just happened? And is this, heck yeah, it's going to make my job and my life that much easier? Or did I just step in something that's going to make everything worse?
You are teamed up with another one of the bridge crew, a human by the name of Stern, and he basically takes you down several flights of stairs down into the lower cargo hold decks, and basically tells you, "All right, you check the odd numbered sides. I'll check the even numbered sides, and see if you can find anybody. And or if you keep your mask and goggles on, and if you spot any gaping holes or whatnot, seal the room.
All right, I can do that. And as I kind of walk my direction, I put my clockwork pistol away because I don't know what's going on with the ether in here. If there are sparks or anything that can fly, so I take out my whip to kind of like make myself feel like I have some kind of protection in case anything weird happens.
All right, and you start moving from one cargo hold to the next, looking around, calling out, and you finally get down towards the rear of the ship. And you can hear voices as you approach the archway into the area. It sounds like Koren and probably Iris Bell having a conversation about something as you walk in through the archway. They're standing over some cargo crates, looking at a black scorch mark, and they are saying,
"Oh, do you know what that is? Anyone? I certainly don't, and that is quite unusual."
It was a problem, and now it's gone. Probably came out of the vaults.
All the reason that we should know exactly what it is. It's important that I collect the data on something like this for knowledge, the sake of knowledge itself.
That's true.
Yes. And if you have some kind of knowledge, it is your job to pass it along to me.
Of course. Then we should be on our way there.
And Koren starts moving towards the vaults.
Bronwyn, you see them, you hear all of this, and as you walk into the cargo hold, and you can see that they start to turn towards a large clockwork door at the back of the cargo hold, where a sort of fading in and out blue light is creeping through a seam in the vault.
I kind of hear this discourse and I rush in. I don't want to interrupt, so I like try to be as tactful as I can. But I just kind of run to Iris. I look over at Koren for a second, kind of sheepishly, and then go past him to Iris. Oh, Iris, so you guys had the turbulence, right?
Yes, how could we miss it?
Yeah, you see, you're looking for something. I don't know if maybe these things are related or they're like separate, but you said you're looking for information, and well, the captain's and I try to like do it away from Koren, thinking that perhaps he's not ready for that news.
Yeah, he's walking towards the vault right now.
Okay. I don't see any more of those wispy things around, and some of them look like they disappeared once that dog thing got taken care of there by you, Koren. But aren't we supposed to stay out of the vault?
Okay. A number of things here. First off, what exactly? Something has happened to the captain. It seemed quite. He kind of like looks at you because she saw what you did, but doesn't fully. She's trying to figure out if you're hiding something or not, and if she should help you or not. She says, and we should certainly go into the vault because it is something that I would like to do, so we shall do it. All there is to it.
So you head on over to, you push past Bronwyn and head over towards the vault doors as well. The only person standing kind of still by the crates is Bronwyn and Hester.
Well. Everybody's gone?
Well, everyone's walking towards the vault.
But us.
Yeah, except for the two of you.
I'm going to pull Bronwyn aside. What did you mean about the captain?
What? I was up there. I was helping. I was a very, very good assistant on the bridge to the captain. And Well, there was a black hole, and the ship started.
A black hole.
Yeah, and I used my tendrils. I tried to hold the ship together and keep it, I don't know, in one piece. And then just like, bam! All of a sudden, I'm standing there on the bridge. Half the front is gone, and with it, the captain. I didn't do it. I swear. I was thinking about it, and I knew that I needed to do it, but I didn't do it. I swear I didn't do it.
No. You were thinking what? I'm
joking. Don't listen to me. I'm, practicing my, your courtesans. I gotta have a good sense of humor, so.
Listen, the captain is my only way out of this mess.
Oh, well,
I'm being hunted, and the captain is in a black hole, and you were there.
I was, and I didn't. I promise, hand to God, I didn't do a thing. I promise. I didn't. Listen, this is the second time I failed to kill this idiot, so.
Cutting from there over to the vault. Koren, you're standing in front of the vault with Zeth and Iris. It is open just a crack, and the pulsing blue light kind of peeking through it.
And Iris would try to push over and open the vault. That was her goal, so unless someone stops her.
No.
You pull up. You
probably open it first.
Okay. Yeah, you pull back the vault door enough so that you guys can go through and you can return to the interior of the vault.
Wow, I'm really not sure this is a great idea. I don't know if we should
care
be
what you
doing
think.
this correct, unless of course you think that was the source of the problem. Then I suppose that's probably the right course of action.
It was.
Oh.
Laying on the floor of the vault is a small pile of black sand spilling out of a copper urn, which is crackling with the blue electricity, and it appears to be the source of that strange glow that you were seeing through the vault opening.
Well, would you look at that? And Zeth has taken this monstrous wrench that he used to, clobber the beast earlier, and he's just got it slung over his shoulder at the moment. He looks at Karen, and he looks at Iris, and he's like, he just looks at it and points to it as if, well, that explains everything.
Yeah. That would be an urn of Tindalos. Probably not too dangerous right now, after its residents came out.
Residents, that's what those were.
With the mention of that, with the name of this item, Iris can make a knowledge check here. In fact, it would be an occult roll if you have it.
Occult. I don't think I do.
So you'll have to try the unskilled.
Fortunately. We'll use a Benny for that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Call out your rolls, please. What'd you roll?
That is a 5. As before, I got a 3.
Well, unskilled checks are -2, so that would be
Right.
Right.
It is a 3.
So it would be a 3 all day. So you don't know what that is, but you would certainly demand to know what that means.
Yes. What is it? I feel like you've been dancing around this whole thing, it seems like, since we got here. So what is it already?
Karen's moving his hand over to sort of seal the sand that's spilled out on the floor back towards the urn.
Okay.
It's one of many. One of the urns of Tindalos made after somebody of the same name. They're
Tindalos.
artifacts. Yes.
And what do they do? What's their purpose?
That's a good question. It just looks like sand to me.
Well,
Sand doesn't usually get all electrified and have things come out of it like that now, does
Well,
it?
that depends. If it's filled with like iron filings and that sort of thing, and it picks up a static charge, I suppose it could. But
Stop preaching.
typically, no.
Bronwyn and Hester, do you check on the other three?
I mean, this conversation is kind of heated, so I don't know. I'm going to leave that to Hester.
Yeah.
I
You've
mean,
kind of-
we're right on the we're just about to the mark where the dog was, which I don't think Hester ever actually saw the beast.
No.
She just sent minions in, and they're listen, are you certain that the captain is?
I mean,
You saw it.
yeah, I definitely saw him get sucked out into space. Really no,
And now we're stuck here. We're We're all hunted now. We're all being hunted now. And look at that. Look
well,
at that.
listen, the captain is dead, so I'm not being hunted. I'm gonna be fine, and I can take you with me.
But you're with
this
me
is part of
now.
the reason.
You're with me now, and I'm being hunted by everyone.
Yeah, but I mean, who can get lost? Like, a woman of my
You think you can hide from whatever that is?
I mean, yeah, I do.
Yeah? Well, why don't we go check?
Let's catch up with the others. I'm telling you right now, it's not the end of the world. I'll figure something out. I always do. I've got a certain set of skills, okay? You're not familiar with them, but I'm quite good. I can get you out of this. I promise.
As you move over towards the vault, the interior of the vault, I'll describe it for you guys, flanked by card catalogs to the left and the right, and a wall of books of various occult tomes in the center, and shelves and boxes of strange knickknacks and various items or relics, or in devices and inventions. It seems like quite a collection of the strange and unusual in here.
You don't say.
The three that went in before you are standing around a copper urn with a sort of a crackling electricity coming off of it, as you see Corinne scooping the black sand back into the urn, finally putting a cap on it, and then picking it up and doing what with it?
He just holds it in his hands for now.
Okay.
when overturned or overused, this sort of thing happens. I'm not sure if this is the end of this one's life, but the urns. Sort of life. Some sort of dark magic made it. I don't know what.
Give me a occult roll, Corinne.
That will be a. Who's been a Benny on this? I feel like he should know what.
Okay. Yeah, there. What'd you roll?
That'll be a 7.
7. That is a success. You know that the Urn of Tyndalos is a precursor relic. There are many planets throughout the Axion known universe in which there are ancient races, things that vanished long before any of the current spacefaring kind ever reached them. They are many abandoned temple and buried complex with strange and unusual devices of unknown and alien nature. The Urn of Tyndalos are ones that were all found on a particular planet called Tyndalos. And there are strange copper urns that seem to be forever charged with galvanic energy, and they make excellent power sources for devices like that. But it must never be opened, or the things inside will escape. The rest of you look around, you see all sorts of strange and devices sitting on the shelves. You see alien statues and a deck of cards, scrimshaw tobacco pipe, opera glasses, a strange painting with piercing eyes, what looks like boxes with taxidermy kits and skeleton keys and brass lanterns, and for some reason a tea set, and much more, all filling this room to the brim.
I would be looking through everything after the sand seems to be dealt with.
I'm not so sure this is such a good idea, Corinne. I mean, the guests, are they supposed to be here in the vault? But won't the captain get upset about this?
It's a bit beyond that now.
Yeah,
No.
I'm sorry, but I got some bad news for you all. I was up on the deck, on the bridge or whatever, and I was helping the captain, and kind of got sucked out into space.
Oh, that's what this thing you were hiding from everyone was.
I just didn't think that you guys were like ready to hear it. You seem to be kind of wrapped up in this monster thing, which like I'd like to know who let the monster out.
I'm sorry. What did you just say?
So I was on the bridge and I was trying to help, and there were a lot of men around, and they were trying to help me help the captain, and he was steering. And
You said
suddenly,
something about he got sucked out into space. I'm sure I heard that wrong, right?
no, I saw
That's
him.
correct.
He got just like sucked out into space, like he's gone. I did everything I could to save him. All right, so don't point your fingers at me. I didn't do it.
Are you lying to me right now?
Oh my God, the haka with the lying. If that's not what I do. That's what you do.
Actually, no. I always tell the truth, but, Corinne, the captain's all right, right?
We can't be sure.
The
ship's shaking.
He's not on the bridge. You saw him go, like he's not on the bridge.
Go
If
check.
If you head up there, you're gonna see the there's a little porthole and the door is clamped shut, but you can see right out there. It's just nothing.
No. The captain. This ain't right. This ain't right. This ain't right. Zeth just runs.
All right, you go running out of the vault back to go see what's going on. As he goes running past you, Iris, you turn to look, and on the shelf, just within arm's reach, is a very complex and complicated-looking mechanical arm. It appears to be highly engineered and far more complicated than even your own golemic frame.
Yeah, I would definitely. I would pick that up and take a closer look.
It is in a small. It's in a box. It appears to be an entire hand down to about the lower part of the forearm, cuts off just before the actual elbow, and there's a card in the box with it. It's kind of encased in a small velvet pocket within the box, and the card just says Warp Field Manipulator.
Oh, would I know? I mean, I
Give me.
understand what that is.
Do you have anything in the any understanding of science or something of a? Oh yeah, I guess
Yes, science. Yes,
science. Give me a science roll.
For a second, I thought you meant in real life, and I was like, dang.
I wish.
Have you ever heard of science?
Oh, critical failure.
No.
I guess not. I guess not.
Iris is distracted.
Do you mean
Nuts.
astrology?
Nuts.
Yeah, that's lame.
So
Ready?
you have not heard of this technology, but hey, it is bleeding edge science in this day and age. It is something beyond most current scientific understanding. So it's not that unusual that you don't know what it is. But feel free to make up what you believe it is with that critical failure.
Is it common for a historian to upgrade themselves, or is it like, this is the body I got, this is what I am?
For the most part, that is the body you got. There are ways that you can find, you can get people to help you with doing that sort of work. But as a cogsmith, you are certainly well suited to doing post encasement modifications to your own frame. Certainly.
Okay.
As a master of gears and cogs yourself.
Yeah, I think she would pick it up, and she would kind of like be looking at it and just kind of talking to herself, to anyone who would listen, and just saying, "Oh, this is quite fantastic, and the way that this is put together right here, and I would never have thought something like that to put those together. I've got to remember that next time." And then she's kind of like looking at her own elbow and things like that. In fact,
give me a forge craft roll on.
I got a 9.
9. All right. So while you don't know what a warp field manipulator does, you can see how this thing is constructed very easily. The thing that catches your attention, while you could easily convert it for use, you think maybe it's got elements that looks like it was designed for implantation on a biological person, but you could certainly convert it and use it yourself.
I would turn around to Karen and hold up the arm and go, "Do you know anything about this one too?"
That one's been on the ship before I got here. All I can tell you about it is the people that made it were killed for making it.
Why?
It's evil science.
Evil science? What's evil about it? It looks like a perfectly normal arm that isn't really good or bad. It'd be more about who used it. Is it evil?
Or how it was made.
Yes. You're going to have to be more specific.
I don't know how it was made, though.
Oh,
the problem is, Captain Click didn't properly explain that. He didn't want to. Seems he has some sort of connection to it. Or had.
You do see that there are numerous books in here, and one that does look like very similar to the journals that you retrieved from his stateroom that monitored his the cargo manifest and the travel logs. But this one looks more, it looks like the same sort of make and model of diary, but this one is much older. It seems to be much more worn than any of the others, and it's locked away here in the vault and not where it's easily accessible.
I mean, yeah, if there are things like that are clearly like logs or something that is written, any of that kind of stuff, she would start collecting it in her arms, like she's choosing her reading material for the evening.
Yeah, you peel the cover back on the book, and it appears to be some sort of manifest of the vault.
Oh, this is wonderful. What an organized captain. I do like that. It's quite helpful. Is there something specific that I'm trying to find in here? I would be searching for that as well.
You just had picked up on the captain's captain's name kept coming up in all sorts of research that you were doing on all sorts of strange and unusual events that were going on, where the ship often appeared in ports where devices like these had made some sort of an impact on a community, and you had drawn a conclusion that there was something about the light of day, specifically, that seemed to be drawn towards these things.
Okay.
And the fact that he was always very elusive about any sort of visitations from historians in the past. It was a matter of luck that you were able to get yourself on board.
So, Corinne, you've been here for quite some time. Clearly close with the captain. Why does the captain have so many things such as this? Why does the captain seem to collect these things? What is the captain hiding? I mean, clearly he's not here anymore, so you don't need to keep any more secrets.
Why would you think he's hiding something?
Because the ministry is so curious about this particular man. He turns up over and over again with interesting things that it seems a little bit more than just correlation. So they sent me to investigate and learn more.
Doesn't matter now, does it?
Well, all of these things are still here, and there's no captain to keep track of them anymore. So, by all rights, I could take them into ministry custody, I'd say.
That wouldn't be true.
Why
They're
not?
part of Click's ship. Until he's proven dead, you aren't taking anything out of this room.
Beyond that point, we are still near a black hole, correct? Did it leave? Did we get away from it? Did I miss that part? Are we still in danger?
I wouldn't know, and I don't know what happened to my captain right now.
You should be figuring that out, shouldn't you, want you? Which one of you is next in line? There should be someone. I assume you have a thing, an order of events where something to happen so you could take care of all of your people.
With that, we're going to cut to Zeth as you go racing through the corridors up the stairwell, and you run into some more of the crew, where they quickly confirm Bronwyn's story. They're not sure if the captain is still alive, but the wheelhouse is completely wrecked, and he did not come out of it.
Did Zeth make it all the way to the wheelhouse?
Yeah, they lead you up there, but they tell you that they sealed the room because of they weren't sure of any ether that might be. Well, they know that the wheelhouse itself is completely exposed to the ether. So you definitely need mask and goggles to get that any further.
You don't want none of that.
So Zeth would have been more and more irrationally angry with each person that's telling him this. And so by the time he would get to wherever he might be able to see the wheelhouse, if he can get to that point in the ship, when he gets to that point and there's probably a moment where he comes right up to the window and puts his hand on it if he can see into the wheelhouse and see that there's just this void and maybe the black hole behind it, and he gets real quiet after he's been raising this ruckus, and he just falls to his knees, and his head clunks against and his horns clunk against the steel of the door frame or the window frame.
Master Gunner Esmer Rose is there. She kneels down and goes, Zeth.
This ain't right. This can't be right, Esmer.
Zeth, what would the captain do? What would he say?
I don't know, Esmer. I don't know what the
breath.
captain would do. He always had
Zeth, she
an
slaps you in the
answer.
face.
Ugh.
Zeth,
Yeah.
count to 3. Let it wash
1,
over you. Do the job.
2, 3.
The ship is out of the ship is out of the black hole, but it's not out of danger. We need to get our
right.
full power and running.
You're
We need to
right.
assess the damage.
Okay. Thank you, Esther. I'll get on. Thank you, Esmer. I'll get on it right away. And he's hanging his head. He's like real glum, but he sort of knows the task in front of him now. He's like almost dragging his wrench that he carried with him the whole way. It's like dragging on the floor at this point. And he just like, he's going to get himself back to either.
As you're moving along, Esmer asks you a question. The wheelhouse is wrecked. Can we control the ship from anywhere else?
So can we?
Yeah, you know this. You know that that the primary use of the wheelhouse is sort of this where they can centralize all the controls, but all of them are usually then are they're kind of
it's like routed
focused
to the
in
engine
there.
or something.
But then but you can route each of the different controls to somewhere else, where the captain can basically be on the bridge shouting out commands that get sent off to different parts of the ship. The entire ship can run without the wheelhouse. It's just, there's a lot more yelling involved in keeping everybody involved in what's going on.
Well, we'll be okay, Esmer. I'll figure something out. I'll fix it, and we'll get the ship back in its operational form. Let's see. So the first thing we need to do is someone's got to be our eyes. So we need someone to go into the foredecks and look out the ports and can relay me some information down in the engine room. And I'll get
I'm
on
getting
it.
reports. I'm getting reports back. We sent crews out to check all the corners. We're getting information on what's been damaged, what's broken, and what needs fixing.
Esmer, I can fix all of that stuff, but what are we gonna do without Click?
I don't know, but here's what we know so far. And she hands you sort of like a jumble of handwritten notes and scrawls about damage, and give me a repair roll as you look over it all.
Okay, this is good. This is a problem I can fix. I can do this. Let's see what needs to be taken care of first. Well, whoa, my dice
What'd you get?
disappeared. I don't know. They shot across the screen and then disappeared. No!
Critical failure. Oh no! You can't focus. If you look at the notes,
I'm sorry, Esmer. I'm sorry. My face is leaking all over the scrolls, and I can't read any of it anymore.
Esmer curses. She goes, "I can't fix this. I can barely keep my rig running. You are our only hope on this, Zeth. Who else am I supposed to turn to? Renke? Renke doesn't know Renke isn't any good at his job, and he's, between you and me, he's a coward."
Yeah, and I suppose Gregor and Yorgos aren't gonna be. You know what?
Yorgos is the boiler room taken care of.
Okay.
I'm
gonna go check with Karen. He's a smart one. He understands this ship was pretty much better than anyone other than the captain. I'll go.
So you have the sheaf
check.
of papers, and you head back down towards the vault.
And before he walks a few paces away, and then he turns back around and like squares his shoulders and stands up to his regular full height, and he says, "Thanks, Esmer. I needed that." And he nods and he turns.
Yeah, I'm looking for whoever's going to do that for me. And kind of like she kind of starts stumbling off. Into
he
another
rushes
direction.
over to her and like just bear hugs her, like just like wraps her up and just like crushes her in a hug, and then says, "You're gonna be all right," and sets her back.
She tenses up and pulls away for a moment, and just sort of just kind of like ragdolls into you, and just kind of leans her head against you.
You're gonna be all right, Esmer. We're gonna get out of this.
I don't know what we're gonna do. And you hear her count to herself quietly. 1, 2, 3. Composes herself, gets back to work.
Yeah, Zeth just quietly, like he just nods and quietly turns and goes quickly back downstairs.
Thank you for watching Valor Studios on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Meanwhile, back in the vault, Horen and Iris were debating about who is going to take what out of this vault.
Well, I don't need to take anything anywhere right now, because right now there's nowhere else to go other than this ship.
Well, first, let's move out of here. If anything bad happens, this place is the first, most assured place to blow up.
Oh, yes, then. I suppose we should get out of here.
This is going to blow up?
If any damage happens to it, you saw what happened when an urn tipped over.
And what came out of that urn?
Why would you put it on a ship like this, too? It can just fall over. We're in space.
Where else should it be?
Well, at least put it in something. Yes, so it can not fall over. It seems like that would be the first thing to think about. I thought
it was secured.
This historian.
So actually, Iris, you were there when he was pulling it out and putting it on the shelf, and then he didn't have a chance to properly secure it. This was editor's note back in the first episode. Go and watch on VOD.
Didn't know that.
I thought it was properly secured.
Yeah. Buckle your seat belts and stuff.
Good point, Hester.
Tape your stuff down. But listen, the thing that came out, is there more?
That's a good question as well.
Is it in here with us? Because we are being chased from out there and now in here?
We're going to leave that question hanging in the empty space and cut to a scene where the rest of you, along with a portion of the crew, are all kind of gathered together in one of the common rooms on the ship. As you've all had a chance to look over the damage done and have to make a decision about what you're going to do. After a bit of recuperation and focusing, Zeth, you are pretty certain that while you could make the repairs, you don't know if you can do it in the void like this. You might have to find someplace to touch down. in order to facilitate enough repairs, or at least get a few more supplies than the ship carries. The ship carries some repair supplies, but not enough to fix all the damage the ship has suffered in this excursion into the edge of a black hole. So
I would imagine we have things for minor stuff, like maybe small, like an asteroid pierce the hull or something like that.
Right.
Small space debris pierce the hull, but not when an entire section has been just like ripped right off.
Right. Yeah. So you need to get some, if anything, you need to find someplace with enough raw supplies to help you get the ship back up to make it to a proper ship stock where it can get fully repaired. In so doing so, you need to find somewhere to get to some sort of bearing to set the ship on where you can set down or send an excursionary crew out to find supply.
Based on my calculations, with the wheelhouse no longer functional and that part of the ship basically destroyed, I've set up a temporary operations office in the comms, which is up on the top of the ship. But the bad news is we have to go and either find a dock, a port, somewhere to make repairs, an outpost or something like that, or we're gonna have to find a planet or an asteroid or moon somewhere that we can set down and get some materials. We just don't have enough on hand. Any suggestions or ideas about that?
We can't land in a port.
I'm not.
Well, why not?
We just can't.
I mean,
I have
so
specific
many
places that I can be.
we
Exactly.
do it all the time, but
Yeah, but I can't be on no fire planets or anything with roaming bands of Hakka. So if we can figure out where we can go, that is maybe there's an ice planet nearby where things might be, or a jungle planet where I'm from.
I suppose that would be all right. I mean, I can fix just about anything, but I need raw materials if I'm gonna do it, and I'd rather not rip the rest of the ship apart to do that. I'm not so sure we could find that on an ice planet or a jungle planet, although I could be wrong. I've not been to that many, to be honest.
Step one would be finding what's nearby.
Yeah. So
Horan, that would kind of fall into your, as the communications officer, that would fall under your purview.
Time to do the magic.
Karen, you gotta help us out here. What's nearby? Where should we go? These two don't want to go to proper port, which is fine, I suppose, but we gotta find something, and honestly, sooner rather than later.
Yes, please.
He sets down his lamp, lights it with a flick of a match, and as it starts lighting up, a spirit starts to move around the table. I'm going to use divination right now.
Divination in Axion works a little bit different than the standard divination. The range in which you can reach is based on how many power points you spend on the divination casting. On a scale of 1 through 5. 5 basically will let you reach out to any locations, known or unknown, in the Axion universe. 4 will let you reach any 2 places in the universe that you specifically have knowledge of. 5 is you can fire off blind on that. 3 PowerPoints will let you communicate to any planet within the current solar system or within 1 week's travel of you. 2 will be any location within a solar system, but just the current solar system that you're in. And for 1 PowerPoint, you can divinate and communicate with any location on a planet.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with 3 within a week's travel.
Okay. So you probably want to do so you're going to spend 3 PowerPoints on it and give me a roll, a commune roll.
All right, that'll be a 7.
7. You see Corin sort of goes into a trance, communicating with the spirit in his lantern. And you want to describe what this looks like?
Yeah. As this happens, the flame goes out, and it seems like it moves, the smoke moves itself at least, into a different form. A spirit of a Zexal starts to form up in the air over top the table. As it looks down, you can see its forearms starting to loom over it. As it's turned into a spirit, it's gotten a bit more monstrous, out of the bounds of what its original creature's form, the creature's original form was. And now more of what perhaps it thought of itself, perhaps what others thought of it. Whatever it is, it looms over the table now, massive, and looks down towards the lot of us. And Karen speaks up towards it.
Oh, creature of Zulan, what do you know of the area about? What do you know within a short distance of us? Our ship.
The spirit hears your question and it says, you are in the system of Hygeia, the closest world, a planet called Calypso.
Calypso.
It is 2 days from here. There is
What do you know of it?
There is life, a colony. I can feel it.
A colony of what?
It kind of tries to concentrate, and with only a basic success, its information is spotty. And it goes, believers. Before it fades.
Then, what I heard was of a place called Calypso. It's nearby here. We'll try and put in the coordinates.
How
Perfect.
far?
2 days passage.
Well, that's not so bad. I think the light of day could manage a 2-day transfer. I'll do everything I can to shore things up in the meantime.
Now, as knowledge of the loss of the captain's gone, you feel the morale on the ship has dropped significantly. Everyone seems a little unfocused and is making, and unless they're, you have to double check everything because people are making sloppy mistakes. So it's going to be rough going. In order to make that travel, somebody is going to have to take lead on a boating roll. Keep everybody in line.
I think I can manage that.
Boating.
In Axion, for the management of a ship and a crew, it requires boating because boating is a sort of a skill that is about getting a large group of people to work together on moving a vehicle, whereas opposed to piloting or driving are completely different skill sets. The current morale, however, on board is going to give you a -2 on this boating check. So if anybody else has the ability to assist whoever's taking lead, raise your hand.
I mean, can I help with persuasion?
Any attempts that you can do in order to keep people's spirits up might make sense. Just explain how you're using your persuasion to keep people motivated and focused.
Oh, I definitely will. She just kind of wanders around and just finds where people are working and says, listen, if you all don't do this correctly the first time, then we will all likely die. So it's very important that you all put a smile on your faces because that will help you be able to do the work.
That is a very interesting use of persuasion.
Yes. Something along those lines.
It feels closer to intimidation or taunt.
Also do that.
Which would go with what you feel like you're most leaning towards.
Oh, I rolled a 3. No, I would have failed if I do that, which kind of makes sense, but
okay. All right. So before anyone else makes any rolls, I want to point out, due to the tragic loss of the captain, everyone is filled with a sort of conviction to keep this thing together. And in fact, conviction is an actual Savage Worlds mechanic, where you can say, I'm going to rely on my conviction. And for whatever challenge we're dealing with, in a combat, it would only last one round. In this situation, it's just for this one check. Basically, everything you do will get an extra D6 added to it. For the 2 members of the crew, you got 2 points of conviction from the loss of the captain. Everyone else got 1.
So I think Zeth would definitely use that for his boating role to try to make sure they steer the right course without any errors.
Okay, so before we do that, let's see if anyone else is going to be doing any support roles. Does anybody else want to step up and do any support? Bronwyn.
Yeah, Bronwyn sees Iris kind of trying to take the lead and realizes that she's just not. People are scared. Her tone is like making people like look more stressed out. So she like looks over at Zeth and like rolls her eyes, knowing that this is actually going to help him, and is like, So, gentlemen, who's the strongest of you? Little old me, I can't die like this. I'm too beautiful. Someone's got to save me. Which one of you is going to save me from this terrible, terrible tragedy of an existence? Please, please. And I look over at Hester and I wink like, please, gentlemen.
Give me a persuasion roll.
No one else is going to die on my watch.
I mean, I hear you, but, you look a little worse for wear.
What'd you roll?
4.
4 is a success. That'll be 1. It'll be a +1. And it'll offset one of the penalties that Zeth is dealing with. Anybody else got any extra help to pull? It doesn't have to be persuasion. It can be any skill that you can justify using as a form of assistance in keeping the crew in line. Mm-hmm.
I'm not a very helpful individual.
Okay.
Not because I'm, not because I'm mean. I'm just a bit useless. However, I did.
It's good to know yourself.
It is, and I received that wink. I know it was like kind of a friend thing, but Hester has the amorous hindrance.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of feel like that shook me a bit. And so instead of focusing on helping, I am following Bronwyn around real, just like kind of in the way. I'm getting in the way of people who are working. And every now and then I freeze something that I touch.
Oh, right. So it doesn't sound very helpful at all.
It's not. In fact, it's probably harmful.
Okay.
But it's what's happening.
All right. Duly noted. Any Corinne, you got any advice for the crew?
Yeah, stop that.
Stop destroying our ship again. When Zeth says nobody's dying on my watch, I believe. Zeth or Corin is going to say on our watch. He just puts a hand on his shoulder, and he's going to use boost trait on him to boost up his boating roll to a higher D.
Okay.
Die.
All right.
Whoa.
So I'll roll that.
Freezing all the doorknobs.
Oh, explosions.
A 9.
What'd you roll? 9. 9 is a hit and a raise, which is going to boost his boating by 2. So I'll just throw that boosted trait on him. And so now, with your conviction activated, roll your boating.
I think that there's probably maybe the way the Zexil process things and like interact with other species maybe is sort of awkward and strange. And it's possible that Karen doesn't realize how much Zeth has relied on him through the years and cares about him, and like how important that simple small gesture was for Zeth. And so he feels like incredible, especially being that, you know, Captain Click was also Zexil. So there's this weird, maybe he's projecting a little bit or sort of transferring emotions and that kind of thing happening, where he maybe feels an even stronger, but you know, this is probably all subconscious for him, but feels this stronger bond now with Karen. So yeah, that helped a lot. So now tell me again, what are my detriments and bonuses?
Right now, the main thing is you're going to have a -1 on the roll. You got basically you had a -2 from morale, +1 from Bronwyn's assistance, so it evens out to a -1 all day. But your I type has been boosted by 2, so that's going to be a significant help.
Awesome. All right, hopefully this works with the conviction. I did click that. Let's roll it. Oh, sweet. So it's an 8.
So it's an 8 all day, which is a hit and a raise, which means you make it to the target in about half the time you were originally. So instead of taking 2 days to get there, you make it there in a day. Actually. And with like that, you see the sort of green and blue orb of Calypso appear in the distance as you approach, flying high over its atmosphere. You can see there isn't much habitation, but you are able to eventually zero in on signs of a farming community down there. You have to make the decision to either land the ship somewhere. Unfortunately, by your estimates, kind of distant from the actual town, because there's no official port for an aether ship. You have to find someplace large enough to land that isn't a body of water, because the light of day has got a whole bunch of holes in it right now. Set down in a body of water, it's going to leak. Or you can take out the shuttle roundabout and visit the community and see what they can offer up in trade, which would just leave the light of day up in orbit for the time being.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like we made it here ahead of schedule. I guess maybe your calculations were a little bit skewed there, Karen, or possibly the adjustments I made to the engine maybe boosted our thrust. But either way, I'm wondering if perhaps we should leave this in orbit and then we maybe take our shuttle down and say hello. What do you think about that?
We should probably bring down with the shuttle. We're only after supplies from these people.
Now, the two of you good at negotiating such things? You might need a good talker.
I imagine the historian. Iris, have you been to this planet before? I'm sure you'd like to. And actually, Zeth pauses as he's addressing the historian, and you see him, and it's like the cogs in his own brain are sort of churning, and so he thinks back. And I want to ask, Jim, what was it? How was it that you were referring to Iris when Captain Click addressed her?
Called her Your Grace.
Your Grace, yes. So Zeth starts to talk like he normally does, and he stops himself, and then he you see him thinking. It's very obvious. And he says, because he called you Iris, and then he realizes that was inappropriate. He says, "Forgive me. Your Grace, have you ever been to this planet before? I'm sure there's got to be all kinds of interesting things down there you could help us with. And actually, Bronwyn, it seems like they're a farming community. Maybe they would react well to an RE visiting them."
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't mind helping out or whatever. It's fine.
Yes, well, I would like to see what all is down there. But maybe I'll help you. Do I know this planet?
Everyone can give me a common knowledge roll to see what they might know about this sector of space.
Calypso. I rolled, I guess
you rolled a
4. Then
4. Okay, so Zeth, you got a 4. Anyone else?
got a 5?
Or 2.
4. Okay.
Got over a 6, but I can't find where it went.
Okay. Let's see. Scroll
7.
up here. You got a 7. Yes.
7. Yes. There we go.
All right. All right. So all of you have heard of the Aegean system before, and you haven't necessarily heard about the planet of Calypso. Vaguely, you remember some colony ships being sent out in this general direction during the war, but details are fuzzy. But you do definitely remember that it was not a black hole system. It was they would never have tried to set up a colony in such a location. It was. You have a remembrance that it was a binary star system, which made for very long growing seasons, which is why they would try and set up some sort of farming community out here. That's what you're all able to remember. At least anyone who got a 4 or better.
Okay. Yes, I mean, I suppose there's could be nice to get a change of scenery as well. Not like we've been on the ship for very long, but yes.
All right. So, and with that, you guys begin. So it's going to be Zeth, Horen, Iris, Bronwyn, Esther. You going to go down with them? Seeing as how you're following Bronwyn around like a little puppy.
I really don't think I have a choice.
Are you going to take any other member of the crew with you? Or is it
Well, I mean, I was winked at.
Yeah.
So I'm coming.
And any intention to grab anybody else from the crew? No. Okay.
No.
Not sure.
It'd just be a few X.
I want to grab Gregor, but I feel like he'd scare the locals.
He might
I
be a
was
little
thinking the
scary.
same thing. Like maybe the cook wants to get some fresh surprise, but is that a good idea?
Yeah.
He's just such a gentleman.
It's better to
what
put
is Esmer
He's the best
Rose's?
cook.
He is best cook. Gregor is best cook.
Yeah.
What is
We should bring a
Esmer
covered
Rose's-
dish.
What's Esmer Rose's position on the ship?
She is Master Gunner.
Oh, cool.
Which
Okay,
which basically means that the two things that she does is she mans the the light of day has no actual guns anymore. She mans the grapple cannons, which is in case you ever need to like grab onto something that's in space. You know, it would be that. And she is sort of the de facto head of the crew in an invasion attempt. Should there be any attempt to any boarding action where someone's trying to evade the ship, she's in charge of commanding troops in that way. And that is because back during the war, she was a Lancer soldier and still has her steampunk clockwork armor rig. It's basically a lightweight steampunk mech suit that she can get into and run and operate. And once inside, she is one formidable hand-to-hand combatant. But for the most part, she doesn't have to do much of that with the basic cargo runs.
So, in a manner of speaking, kind of like our chief of security.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Is it following protocol, Karen, that we should bring Esmer with us? Is Esmer Rose supposed to, like, accompany us on this kind of a mission or something? I don't understand how that stuff
Not by
works.
protocol. She can join us if she wants, but I think her best option is on the ship. If we want some muscle in case things get dusty, perhaps we get Stern to come along.
Sounds good to me. I'll bring
Does
my
Hester hear
wrench
that?
too, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Hester can be a part of this conversation, certainly.
Hester's gonna look over at Bronwyn and just be like, "You don't need to bring them. I can fight."
Yeah, I mean, you look real strong. You were giving
Yeah.
me kind of a little bit of a fright earlier, actually, when you were getting real, serious. I wouldn't
Yeah.
do anything to hurt you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
All right.
Well,
So-
I guess it's decided then. The 5 of us will head down and see what we can do.
You are all shown down to the lowest bay in the light of day, the underslung cargo area, which has actually been half outfitted into a sort of a hangar for an aether scout, a small shuttle runabout, which has no official name just yet. Saying this out to the people in chat, we're going to start. If those of you watching on Twitch right now, we're going to throw some possible names that have been submitted over Twitter and Facebook in the past couple of weeks. We're going to let you all folks vote on what the actual name of this shuttle is going to be, and that will be revealed next episode. But it looks like a small silver barrel of a ship with a domed front encased in a brass cage, twin propellers on either side, steering fin in the back, and brass filigree ornamentation decorating all along the sides. And we'll throw up a picture link that everyone can see what this thing looks like. Or you can, if you haven't seen it already in Twitter. So start voting on that out there in the audience. You guys get into the shuttle, and actually it occurs to you, does anybody actually have piloting, which would be required in this case? If not, you should probably bring some crew member who has piloting.
I could use my ability to give myself piloting for the moment. I
What
have
ability would
the
this be?
edge that, what is it? Jack of all trades, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you're right.
Pretty sure that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, so with that, you can.
So I just gotta let me get a little bit of a look-see here at the controls. I've never taken this thing out for a spin, but I probably should. So I think I need to make a smarts roll
Smarts
first.
check. That is great. Yeah, to make a smarts check.
See if I can do it. Here we go. I'm rolling.
Okay.
Oh, I see an exploding
There we
die.
Oh,
Hey,
what was
that's
your
a
roll?
9.
9. So that's a so you actually now have a D6 in boating. In piloting.
Fantastic.
And so you can. I'm not actually going to make you make any rolls. I just not want to at the moment. I would only have you make piloting rolls if you had to make dangerous maneuvers where
then.
failing was a big deal. I just wanted to know if you knew how to pilot in general, and you do. So you lumber.
Great. That's so great because we are all in this shuttle right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert or anything, but usually given time, I can figure things out. I would imagine that your Grace is probably familiar with, right? If you spend enough time studying a subject, you should be able to figure it out, right?
Yes. Quite true, for most people at least.
Yeah,
So
unless you're thick as a brick, I suppose.
This conversation is happening as the ship is dropped out of the hangar and begins descending into the atmosphere of Calypso. Skimming over the treetops, you find the farm and the colony. The farms stretch out pretty far in all directions, but they are very sparse in the form of housing. You, as you look out over the landscape, you see no signs of a modern docking facilities, although you do pick out signs here and there. The buildings are all constructed out of curved portions of hulls and other old ship supplies and gear. Like they retrofitted their own ships and turned them into houses when they got here. Is the sign. There's definitely signs of the technology that brought people here as you approach. And you find a large open field that has been mostly harvested at the time to set down in. You wouldn't want to ruin anybody's crops with the shuttle.
As we're flying down, Zeth is actually he's at the controls and seems like he's like supremely focused on what he's doing. However, he says at some point he's gonna say, Your Grace, you mentioned at dinner the other night that the ministry never asked you what you would do with the knowledge and information that they gather. And I gotta tell you, ever since that conversation, I've been wondering, what would you do with it?
Quite a question. I think there's plenty of things you could do with it. I think you could spread information around. You could use it to create new and fascinating devices. If you set up some process in which you could have multiple people analyzing all of the different knowledge and the data that you've brought forth, and then you could draw correlations and you could see causation for various different things that we may not even have an inkling of yet. I think there's all sorts of things you could do other than just storing it. But the ministry thinks that some things are dangerous, which I suppose they are, and they think they know best.
So they probably have some kinds of secret information, or you said dangerous. What kind of information is well, I think I just answered my own question, because gosh, if you know how to make explosives, that could be pretty dangerous, huh?
At this point,
Very literal.
You're touching down the shuttle, and as you land, you can unseal the door and drop the ladder out, and drop the ladder down and walk out onto the surface of Calypso. And as you are arriving at a new planet, I'm going to engage the rules of planetary romance in Axion, much like Star Trek of old or the Flash Gordon Savage Worlds rules. Every time your characters arrive at a planet, everybody's going to roll me a 2d6 with any possible bonuses that they might be receiving for being particularly amorous or very attractive or persuasive. The highest roll is going to be somehow romantically entangled in this.
So, is my hindrance
location.
being an outsider gonna take effect
Yes.
in this? Then?
Your hindrance will be a -2 on this planetary romance roll.
Love it. So,
The same as the Zexiel, which don't generally are asexual and don't actually engage in romance. I'm going to give you a -4 on the roll. Doesn't mean you won't get undue attraction, but it's
It
unlikely.
wouldn't be funny if.
Yeah.
That
Does it
would be
develop?
really funny.
Oh no, wait, this isn't persuasion. Never mind.
No, this is
I
just a
have-
2d6. Yeah.
I have charismatic. Do I get a free
Oh.
reroll?
Yeah, sure. And because you have a +1 on your persuasion, you're going to get a +1 on the on this roll as well, because you are just by your nature there.
and it's just 2d6. It's not like we're not
Just a
using
straight
one
up
of
2d6.
those skills.
These rolls don't ace. You're just rolling 2d6.
Here we go.
Esther.
What?
Oh,
What am I supposed to?
Well.
Oh, I get a free reroll, so I'm doing it.
okay. All right. So, Esther, what'd you get there?
I got a 6.
6. Bronwyn got. Bronwyn still is re-rolling. Corinne
7.
got it. Okay, Bronwyn got a 7. Corinne got a 3. Iris, did you roll?
I did, but again, I don't know where it went. I got two
Oh,
sixes.
oh,
I thought maybe that wasn't me.
Zeph
No,
got
that was
boss
definitely
scholars.
Zeph.
There's one die.
So, with a
been
-2, that
2.
ends up being a 10.
There we go.
All right, so that would be a
Ooh, 11.
11. Yeah, actually, yeah. Iris actually, because of your +2, that's 11 +2. That's 13 total. Zeph
Ooh.
rolled a 10, which was the leading candidate, but Cyrus instead.
I mean, who's
So,
not
Iris?
going to be, astounded by a historian in their presence?
Mhm. Yeah, Iris, you are definitely going to be embroiled in some sort of romantic shenanigans.
Here we
Uh,
go. Everybody take a drink because it's about to get thirsty.
All right. So you land in an open field. By your best guesstimate, it's actually about a 5-mile hike into the what you saw as the largest grouping of buildings, which is the center of the colony. You're out in some farms out in the boondocks, but it was the only place that seemed safe to land. There was so as you set down, you secure the shuttle and start marching together as a group towards the center of the colony. As you do, you begin to see. Well, everyone, give me a notice roll.
No, it'll be a 7.
Okay.
Ooh, an 8.
Wow, seen some really good rolls.
I'm seeing today.
Anybody got any? Raise your hand if you got 4 or better, which would be a
Yes.
success.
Zeph got a 4.
All right, and then put your hand down if you only got 1 success. Keep your hand up if you got a raise. All right. Okay. Good to know. All right. So the first thing you guys notice as you're moving in is, just like you spotted from the air, you see lots of signs where people have basically cannibalized their old technology and in order to create roofs or walls for their their technology. They got worried there when I said cannibal.
Everybody goes,
in order to build their farms, houses, and the like. And you actually you see a couple spots where you see like you see modern materials kind of, in your opinion, being misused as turned into plows and other farm utensils and tools. Catches your attention. What's more disturbing to you, Bronwyn, is you see a lot of signs of a couple of farmhouses that look completely burned out, like just kind of and abandoned. That just the sign of char and fire is disturbing to you, just right off the bat. And Hester, you are the first to spot some people who in the farm who actually like see you folks coming down the way, and they kind of begin to approach you, and they have a certain as they walk up, they're like in wonder that someone has arrived at their world, and they seem so happy actually and excited to see you as they come up. And they're like, "Hello, we've it's so good to see new people coming to Haven. Where are you from?"
We're from all over. We need supplies, is what we're here for. So, do you have those things? It looks like maybe you recently lost some of your supplies.
And they look at each other and they go, "Oh, well, we are. It is part of our belief that all that we have is shared equally. Yes, come with us. We will take you into town where you can meet our leader. It is so great to have new members of the colony join us. This is a great and glorious day."
Right.
I feel like they have a certain exuberance, a sort of manic quality, and as you move on the road, more and more people begin to gather and follow you, almost as like a large parade of people following behind you as you head towards the town.
We're kind of getting swept up here, but I have a question.
Yes.
You're real chipper, but there seems to be a lot of deforestation in this area. Lots of burnt stuff. You guys got wildfires, or what's this?
And I kind of start pointing around at all the charred like homes and fields.
Give me a persuasion.
Gotta be real charming.
Mm-hmm.
The most charming I've ever been. Nope. Benny.
All right.
Oh, I don't have to spend a Benny because it's persuasion.
It's persuasion, yeah.
I get a free reroll. Well, this time I got a 6, so I'll just put a Benny back.
Okay. All right. So you got a 6. That is a success. And the person that you're asking at the point, like, and they got when you ask about the burning, they're sort of like, "Oh, well, things have been difficult of late." And they go, "Since the eye." And they look up into the sky, and you can see from here what was once the binary star system is now a star that is being slowly devoured by a black hole, has formed a spiral in the sky here during the day that looks something like a large glaring red eye with a black iris that sort of stares down upon the ground.
Wow.
And it's actually kind of disturbing and off-putting. And they look back and go, "Since the eye came, Gabriel has taught us that we need to change the way we were living, to purge the dangerous sorcery that has plagued us in order to appease the powers, in order to return things to the way they were."
Sorcery, you say?
Yeah,
Like
what's that
like
about?
plant magic or like witches? Like what are you saying? What?
No. All those things are natural.
Yeah.
And a few of them kind of look down, and then the one you were talking to kind of leans in and kind of looking half side eye towards Iris. She goes, "Technology."
Oh no.
Oh, yeah, but technology, it's just science. And science is just, natural magic. It comes from all of us, and it can help you, plant your crops better. And we shouldn't shoot the messenger, so to speak,
Do you know how old I am?
They look at each other and go, I'm sorry, no, we've never met you. And you actually see that the one who starts to talk is actually pulled back by somebody else and given a stern look, like they are maybe like they're in violation for speaking to you.
Well, if I did not have this technology, as you call it, well, I would not be able to gather all the information that I have, which tends to be quite beneficial for many people in many different places on many different planets. So you should be thanking me for this technology.
You, about this time, arrive in the outskirts of this town, which you learn from the colonists they call Haven, where the rest of the colony appears to have gathered, seeing your ship having flown overhead and you approaching. Man of gray hair, lines in his face, stands there beaming with a look of concern in his eyes as he glances over Iris's direction. And he holds his arms wide at the rest of you and says, "Greetings. Welcome to Haven. How can we be of service?" And with that, we're going to call the end to this tonight's episode.
I don't trust him.
Yeah, this is sketchy as heck.
I feel like he's gonna try to eat us.
Like this is like seriously like a class A nightmare. You're in a strange place with strange people, and they're like, "How can we help you?" I'm like, "Oh no!"
With like an evil sun overhead.
You're gonna want all my bones.
Cheyenne was like, the
Teletubbies.
bad magic technology. And I was like, we gotta turn around. We gotta turn around. I've seen this movie. We can't stop here. We gotta get back in the car. We can't pee here. We cannot pee in this town.
No.
We have a spaceship. We got here on a spaceship.
Thank you very much, Cheyenne, and thank you for sticking through this with us. We're so grateful you came along on this wild space adventure with us. We hope to see you next time, of course. And remember, as we say here at Valor Studios, love yourselves, love each other. Let's make this world better together, friends. See you next time.
Thank you for watching Valor Studios on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications.